Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, we are headed oot and a boot. We don't normally do this, but we have a quick errand to run. It's a teaching day, but I have to run to Walmart and pick up a prescription. I'm almost out of my migraine pills, so I had to step outside of my normal routine and leave the house in between classes, but it's all right. So I thought I would take y'all with me and tell you my plan for this vlog. I've been wanting to do this for a little minute. Y'all notice that you keep seeing the same books come up over and over again with booktubers talking about how much they love them and how great these books are? Well, I keep noticing that there are books that people are talking about and I haven't read them. So that's what I'm going to do in this reading vlog. I'm going to read books that booktubers talk about over and over again, talk about how great they are and how much they love them, and I'm going to see what I think. Now, I know y'all are thinking, well, duh, you're going to like them. Everybody likes them. Some of these vloggers don't love some books that I love. One that I can think of off the top of my head did not love Where the Crawdads Sing. She said it was boring, and I think she might have DNF'd it. And I was thinking, if by boring you mean amazing and touching and you couldn't put it down, I agree it's boring, but otherwise it is not boring, y'all. So I don't necessarily agree with their other opinions. I might not agree with their opinions on these books. So let me get to the Walmart. Let me get in the line because, well, let me tell y'all this. I ran out of the house. I can't believe I'm telling y'all this. I didn't change my shoes, y'all. So I'm headed to the Walmart in my house shoes. Now, I know some people would go inside the Walmart in their house shoes. I am not going inside the Walmart in my house shoes. And, if the intern sees this, he is going to lose his mind because I went outside the house in my house shoes, but technically I really didn't. I only went in the garage in my house shoes and I got in my car. So I'm not walking around outside in my inside shoes, which is the issue he would have. Not that I'm looking all the fool being out in my house shoes, but that I walked outside in my inside shoes. So my inside shoes are going to be dirty. And then I'm going to walk inside the house in my inside shoes and bring the outside inside. Anyway, so I will not be getting out of the car at the Walmart. And just so y'all know, I do have some rain boots back there. So in case anything happens and I have to get out, I can put on some shoes. Anyway, let me get to the Walmart and get in the line. I brought a Kindle with me so that I can show y'all the book that we're going to start with. And if the wait here is anything like it normally is, I'll at least be able to get a couple of pages read before I head back to the house. So let me get to the Walmart, get settled, and I'll be right back. Y'all, that's an absolute FML moment. The pharmacy drive-thru is closed, so now I have to go inside, and I'm wearing my house shoes. So I'm going to crawl in the back, get my mud boots, and go inside the Walmart wearing mud boots. I'll be back. Y'all, that was definitely a bit more of an adventure than I expected. I'm going to file that under Mama always telling me to wear clean drawers because you never know what might happen. Also, don't run to the Walmart in your house shoes because you never know if the drive-up might be closed. Who knew? So I got my prescription. I also got, y'all, this is why I go to the drive-up. Because when I run in just to grab my prescription, I end up getting some Tree Hut cotton candy exfoliating scrub. And, sorry that's loud, a big old bag of Epsom salt. Because if you watch my food and fitness videos, you know I work out all the time and I'm always sore. So anyway, I got those during my adventure inside the Walmart, but let me show you what we would have done had we been sitting at the drive-up line waiting for our prescription is, I would have pulled up our next read on my Kindle, and y'all, here's what we're reading. I'm going to start with Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I'm telling you, everybody that I have seen talking about this book loves it. This is number 1 in the trilogy so far. I don't know if you can call it a trilogy because I don't know if book number 3 ends the adventures, but there are 3 books out so far. Finlay Donovan is an author. Something happens and like she gets sucked into one of her adventures, or she ends up something to do with one of her books. You can tell I know a lot about Finlay Donovan, but I do know that everybody loves her. They love her books, and everybody was elated when book number 3 just came out. So I am going to start with Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I had planned to start right now, sitting over there in the drive-up line. Y'all, I'm going to get past that. But this took much longer than I thought it would. I need to get home and get back to class. But I have time in between classes, so I'm going to get started on this book, and I will check back in with y'all. I have the actual physical copy of this at the house. I checked it out from the library, so I'm going to read back and forth between the physical copy and the Kindle copy. So I'm going to get reading, and I will check back in once I have a little chunk of it read, and I actually know what it's about. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all, do you get the sense that we've done this all before? It's the next day. We are headed back to Walmart because we picked up 2 prescriptions yesterday. Only one of them is right. So I have to go back and deal with that today because y'all were batting 500. And in baseball, that's Hall of Fame. But in taking medication, it's not okay. So we're headed back to the Walmart, and I thought I would check in and let you know what I think of Finlay Donovan. We are reading Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I told you yesterday, all right, I don't know what I told you yesterday, but whatever it was probably wrong because I had no idea really anything about Finlay Donovan. Let me tell you what I know so far. I am enjoying it. It's kind of a quick read. The story moves very quickly. The writing is interesting. It's very light. Finlay Donovan is an author and she is down on her luck, bless her heart. She's either going through or she has recently gone through a nasty divorce. Her estranged or ex-husband is a piece of work. We've just recently met him. There's all kinds of stuff going on with him. She's got bills piled up a mile high. She's late on her next manuscript. She hasn't really even started it. So she is meeting with her agent. Where I am in the story now is she's going to meet with her agent or whomever it is that you got to meet with, and they get mad at you when you're late and you don't have done what you need to have done. So she's going to meet with that person and get yelled at. She has 2 kids, and bless her heart, she's just all out of control. Finlay, not the agent person, whatever she is. So that's as far as I've gotten. I know that's a lot of detail. I'm being sarcastic. That's no detail at all. But I do know that I'm enjoying it. It seems like the story is building pretty quickly. Things are, you know how like you can feel in a story when things are about to start happening? Things are about to start happening. So like I said, I need to run to Walmart, get this prescription thing settled, and then get back to the house. I need to shoot another vlog that needs to go up this week. This one that I'm talking to you on now won't be up for a few weeks. But, so I need to go home, film a video, and then I can read, hopefully, assuming nothing else unexpected happens. So let me get this done, let me get that done, and then I'm going to read. I probably won't check back in today. I want to get a bunch read, so then I actually know what I'm talking about when I tell you what I think about what I'm talking about. So let me get out of here, and I will check back in when I have something to check back in on. I'm on my lunch break, y'all, so I thought I would check in and let you know how Finlay Donovan is doing. It is hysterical. I love it. I understand why people rave about it so much. I think I told you it's quick moving. Finlay Donovan is always getting herself into something. As soon as you think she's gotten out of one fix, she's gotten herself into another one. And some of it is just sort of things happening around her, but a lot of it is based on her making goofy decisions that end up getting her into trouble. I don't know how much I told y'all, but I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to give it away in case you haven't already heard. But I will tell you this. Finlay Donovan gets mistaken for a killer, and you already know that she has bills stacking up. So, she's broke, she gets mistaken for a killer, and then hilarity ensues. I'm almost done. I have about, 30 or 40 pages left, so I'll finish. I'm almost certain I'll finish it tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I love it. I will read the next one, probably not right away, but I'll definitely read the next two books in the series. I think I said I don't know if the third book finishes the series or not, but there are definitely three books so far. So I will read more Finlay Donovan, just maybe not right away. And I don't know what I'm going to read next. So I'm going to finish Finlay Donovan, and then I'll come back and obviously, if anything changes with my opinion of Finlay Donovan, I'll come back. Like if she starts killing puppies or something, making Dalmatian skin coats, I'll come back and let you know. But otherwise, I'll finish Finlay Donovan. I'll decide what we're going to read next. I'll probably go ahead and start that book because I'll finish this and then I'll need something to read tonight when I go to bed. So I'll go ahead and start that book, and then I'll check in with y'all in the morning and let you know how all of that transpires. Y'all, I finished Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I told you I would come back and check in, even though I already told you I loved it. Nothing changed. I still love it. I think it's well written. The dialogue is very witty. The characters are interesting. So I did enjoy Finlay Donovan is Killing It. It's the first book in a trilogy. I'm not going to jump straight into the next book yet, but I do intend to continue reading the Finlay Donovan books. But for now, y'all, we are going to read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This is in keeping with the reading books that everybody loves theme of this vlog. Everybody loves this book. From my understanding, it's about two kids that meet in the 70s and become friends and like remain friends throughout their lives. And they're gamers or game developers or computer coders or something. And I've seen it referred to as historical fiction. Y'all, it's the 70s. Is the 70s historical? Don't answer that question. I rode the bike some this morning and I finished Finlay Donovan. Well, I have time this afternoon to ride a little more. So I am going to start on Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I will check back, let you know how far I get, and let you know what I think. People talk about getting completely obsessed with this book like as soon as they start reading it. So I'm going to start and I'll let you know if I get sucked in immediately or what I think about it. All right, so I'll be back. I have started Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I met our main characters, Sam and Sadie. So the story starts off like modern, I think like in the sort of modern timeline in the story, where Sam and Sadie run into each other what seems like a significant amount of time after something happened. And obviously we don't know what happened because it's the beginning of the book. Well, then we flash back to when they first met. And I think Sadie's sister was sick, like sick, and Sam was in the hospital for some kind of thing. We don't know what that is. So they were both at the hospital a lot. So they met there and started playing video games. And that's how they got to be friends, was through their video game play. So that's the setup of the story. That's as far as I've gotten, not very far. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not obsessed. So if the obsession starts from jump, I might be a little behind the curve, but I don't know. I have a few hours to read this afternoon. So I have my puppies. I have this big, comfy, rug, bathrobe, pullover thing on. So I'm going to sit here, snuggle up with my puppies, and read for a while. I'll check back in either this afternoon or in the morning and let y'all know how much progress we've made and what we think about it. Okay, so I'll see y'all then. Y'all, we got to talk about Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I've been reading. I'm going to keep reading, but I just finished teaching a class and we were doing a vocabulary lesson, and I have my students, so we do a word, and then I have my learners write a sentence with the word, and they've just learned the word. So their sentences are often really awkward and a little bit tortured because they're trying to shove this new word they just learned into a sentence, so into sort of a construct that they already have. It's a little bit tortured. And it occurred to me when we were doing that that's my exact description of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I think I told you the characters are very flawed. I've yet to find okay, there's one character, Marks, that I like. I do like him. But Sam and Sadie, I can't. I don't like them at all. And the entire book just feels tortured to me. I feel like the author, Gabrielle Zevin, is just taking this structure, which is her story, and shoving in references to video games, because that's sort of the structure of the whole thing. Sam and Sadie are gamers, and they're game creators, producers, whatever. They make video games. So she's shoving in all of these references to video games, like video games from the 70s and moving forward. Torture. And she shoves in all of these like tortured, socially conscious things, which are fine if they're done well. But if you just take a structure and then just start jamming them in there, the story is tortured. And then, y'all, this is seriously what puts me over the edge. It's like a vocabulary lesson. I feel like she's taking hard words and just sticking them in. And it happens repeatedly to the point that I really think that's what she did. Like, I wonder if there's some sort of filter that novels or texts or something, literary fiction, gets run through. And if you have enough of these sort of high scale words in your text, it hits a number and then it like boosts your recommendations or something, because it happens over and over again. And y'all, the words are out of context to the point that if you don't know what they are, and I'm all about learning new words and learning words in context, but they're so just shoved in there, you can't even figure them out in context. So that's my feeling from the book so far, is just torture. Not torture, but that it is just tortured. Like that the story is sort of tortured by the addition of these things that she feels like she needs to jam in there. And y'all, she wrote my review for me, y'all. Almost right smack in the middle of the book, there's a review of one of the video games that our characters create, and the review says, "So why did I hate it so much? Because it's pretentious, it's boring, and it's not that fun. Better luck next time, Unfair." And Unfair is the name of the company. And y'all, that's it. This book is boring, it's pretentious, and it's seriously not that fun. It is tortured. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading. I will finish it. I'm probably not going to come back again before I finish it because I don't have anything constructive to add. But look, it's a beautiful book. I am actually enjoying the physical book itself. I like the size. I can't believe I'm reviewing a book by saying I like the size of the book, but I do. Like, it's very comfortable for me anyway. It's very comfortable to read. I've been reading a lot in the physical book versus on the Kindle, but I know who cares about that. But y'all, look how pretty it is. I wish I liked it. I don't like it. I'm going to keep reading it. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully we start focusing on Marks more, because I like him, but we'll see. I'll come back at the end and let you know what I think and how I feel about it once it's all over with. Morning, y'all. I'm about to go out and get on the bike. I just wanted to check in and let y'all know that I finished tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and I still hate it and I hate it and I hate it. All right, I don't hate it. I'm just being dramatic. I don't like it. I still have all the same thoughts that I had yesterday or whenever we talked about it. I still don't like Sam or Sadie. I still love Marks. He's the only character in the book that I ever actually cared anything about. I guess maybe I liked Sam and Sadie in the beginning before I actually knew them. And I think I told you that the story follows Sam and Sadie, who are game creators. It follows them from like upper grade, so from, I don't know, like 8th grade-ish all the way through up into their adulthood, and it kind of like flashes back and forth, and they take turns being the less likable character, but neither one of them's actually likable. And y'all know I love a flawed character, but they're just flawed in the most annoying ways. So I just don't like it. And so I told you issues that I had with it yesterday, so I forgot to tell you. Sorry, let me grab the dogs. You can probably hear them yapping outside. This lighting is horrible. It's about to get worse. It's 6 o'clock. We do have indoor lighting. There we go. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and my dogs are outside barking. About to wake up the neighborhood. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the entire time I was reading this book, I kept thinking, do they not have an editor? If a student had turned this into me as any kind of assignment, I would have written show, don't tell all over it. Like the whole thing, they're telling you stuff, but not showing it to you. Like, they're telling you what happened, or telling you how they felt, or telling you what they thought, instead of showing you those things. And I hate that. Set y'all back down for a second. And then the author, Gabrielle Zevin, kept doing this thing where something would happen and the characters would react to it and you would react to it and like grow to understand their reaction. And then 50 pages later, which was like years and years, you would learn something about that event that completely changed your understanding or your impression of their reactions to the event. And it happened multiple times. So I understand that as a literary tool to kind of bring home the point that we don't necessarily understand what's going on when we're in an event, and we just sort of react to it and deal with it with what we have. And then in hindsight, we see it differently. But you don't have to hit me in the head with it over and over and over again all throughout your insipid, stupid book. So anyway, I just finished reading it. I'm a little tired of it. I don't know if you can tell. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow is going to be a no for me. Not like a no with a jackhammer, but I think it's more of an aggressive no, because I'm going into all of these books with really high hopes because I've seen rave reviews of them. So, I mean, it's not Peace Like a River, but it's going to be a no. So I'm done with that. I'm about to get on the bike and I'm going to start The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I'm so excited about. Once again, going into it with really high hopes. We'll see how this one goes. This is something about Addie LaRue makes some kind of deal with the devil or something where she lives forever but nobody remembers her. So let me get to reading and I'll check back in a few hours and let y'all know how it's going. Morning, y'all. I'm about to do some reading and writing. Writing and reading? I almost said reading and writing. I'm not writing, I'm writing. Thought I'd check in, let you know what I think about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Y'all, I am completely ensorcelled. Do y'all know that word? I told the intern last night that I was ensorcelled with Addie LaRue, and he was like, what word did you just use? So I actually had to look it up to make sure I had not invented it. But it is a real word. I mean, it's archaic, but it's a real word. But anyway, I am ensorcelled, which means enchanted, which is a perfect word, because it's kind of a magical book a little bit. Not magical like fairies floating around and people with wings and magic wands and stuff, but it is magic because Addie, I don't know if I told you all this because I'm not sure if I knew this, but Addie gets herself into trouble by making a deal with a god that she shouldn't ought to be making deals with, because she was in a situation in her life where she was just desperate, like just felt like she needed to get out and didn't know what to do. So she begged for help from just anybody or anything that would help her. Ow, that's too tight. And the god that showed up to help her was not the one you want to be messing with. But anyway, I don't want to give away too much as usual. So I'm about 200 pages in. Addie has made this deal where she lives forever, but nobody remembers her. Ever. So like she'll be talking to somebody and they turn away and turn back and they've forgotten her. And it's interesting because at first you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But then you start to see as things develop in her life what happens or doesn't happen when nobody remembers you. Like the things you can't do, like have a job or eat at a restaurant, right? Because the server walks away and they come back and they don't remember you. And what are you doing sitting in their station? Or rent a place to stay. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much, but that's the life that Addie LaRue lives. And did I say I'm about 200 pages in? I think I'm just less than 200, just fewer than 200 pages in. And something just changed. So things are getting interesting. And I'm very excited. So I'm about halfway, I think. So I'm about to get on the bike and ride and read. And I'll check back. I don't know if I'll check back today because I have 147 things to do today, but I'm going to read as much as I can today because I'm a little worried about Addie. Things seem to be changing for the better, but she has this deal with this awful god. So I don't know if things can change for the better for her. And she seems to be falling for something that I'm surprised that she's falling for. But it might be good. Maybe I'm overthinking things. I don't know. I gotta go. I gotta get back with Addie and see what's happening. So I'm gonna get on the bike, I'm gonna ride, I'm gonna read, and I'll let y'all know what I figure out. Or don't figure out. Or if I'm right or wrong or whatever. So I'll be back. It's been a couple days, y'all. I wanted to check in, let you know what I think about Addie LaRue. I am still completely ensorcelled. I'm almost done. I'm very concerned. Addie has gotten herself into a pickle. We talked about how she made this deal. Sorry, I had to get the dogs settled because we got to get back to work. But I think I told you how Addie made a deal where she'd live forever, but nobody would ever remember her. And she can't say her name. She has no name. So things have kind of developed. And I didn't mention that the story, like the whole book, runs in sort of a parallel storyline. So like you start the whole, you know what, let's go upstairs. I lost my coffee. You go through the whole thing with Addie where she makes this deal, and then you go through like years and years where she's kind of figuring out what the deal means, like how she has to live her life based on this deal. Well, then you jump to a modern storyline with another character, and I'm not going to tell you a thing in the world about that character, but you jump to a modern storyline with that character, and then they kind of interweave. You jump back and forth. I can't go in the office because it's dark in there. So, you weave back and forth between the modern storyline and Addie's past, and you work your way up to like the modern storyline with Addie working her way through the past as she sort of learns how to live with this curse. You know what? I am going to go sit down. Y'all just deal with the dark for a minute. As she learns how to deal with this curse, and I don't know, y'all. She keeps calling it a curse, but does it count as a curse if it's you having to live with the consequences of a deal that you made? I mean, it's a crappy deal, and she kind of got hornswoggled in the deal, but she made the deal. So, I don't know. Is that really a curse? I don't know. I mean, I love me some Addie LaRue, but is that really a curse, or is that just her thinking when she made the deal, thinking like that she was all smart and gonna get the upper hand on this God thing, and she didn't? Anyway, I don't know. I'm going to finish reading today. I'm teaching, obviously. I am in my office. I'm going to teach today, but I have breaks in between, so I'm going to finish reading it today. So I'll come back at the end, y'all. I am on attack. I'm very concerned that she has gotten herself into this situation. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but y'all, bless his heart, the intern has heard everything in the world about it. He could probably sit down and tell you the whole story of Addie LaRue without having read a single word about it, because I keep like getting all upset and he has to listen to me talk about it. So anyway, I'll finish it today. I'll come back and let you know what I think. And then I think I'm going to read one more book before I edit and post this vlog. So I'll come back, report on Addie, and then tell you what our last book is going to be, all right? I'll be back. I finished work, y'all, and I did actually find time to finish The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue in between classes. Y'all, Addie cannot help getting herself into trouble. Fabulous book. I think I told you all the things I needed to tell you. I told you I suspected that Addie had gotten herself into something. She did get herself into something. So I wasn't completely wrong. It wasn't what I thought it was. So to some extent, my level of anxiety and drama over that whole thing was a little more than it needed to be. But I was right that there was something. Sorry, there's a rabbit in the backyard and the dogs are about to see it and go nuts. Anyway, there was something going on there, just wasn't all that I thought it was. So I finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Like I said, I'm going to try to read one more book before I edit and upload this vlog. Y'all, I think I'm going to read Daisy Jones and the Six. This has been on my it's been in my periphery for a while. And I love the idea of it. Y'all, is it just me or does that look just like Stevie Nicks? So anyway, Daisy Jones, everybody knows about Daisy Jones and the Six. I think I'm the absolute last person to read it. It is a reconstruction of the rise and fall, maybe, of this sort of superstar band in the 70s, or through the 70s into the 80s. I don't really fully know what it's about, but I'm excited to read it and find out what it's about. So can y'all see, I've got dinner going. I'm making a pork chop for the intern. I have rice going for me in the rice pot. I know, nobody cares. But anyway, I'm getting dinner going, so I'm going to read for a little while things are sort of working their way out over there. I have my show tonight. I'm going to have time to read a bit before I go to bed, and Daisy Jones and the Six, it seems to me like it's going to be a pretty quick read. Like I said, did I say this? It seems to be a compilation of like interviews or something. So it's not like a continuous narrative. So I think it'll go pretty quickly. It's only like, I don't know, 340 something pages, 350 pages. So I think that'll go pretty quickly. So I'm going to start it tonight. So I'll check in the morning and let you know how that's going and what I think of it. Morning, y'all. I just want to check in and give you my thoughts on Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm about halfway through, and y'all, I love it. It is seriously the most fun. I think I told you, well, I don't know what I told you. The premise of the book is that some writer, an author, somebody, a journalist, somebody, we don't know who it is, but is trying to reconstruct the career path of this band become superstars, the Six, and a singer that joined them named Daisy Jones. And it's all told from interviews and other first-person accounts. There are a couple of other, like, bits of articles and stuff, but it's the vast majority of it is first-person accounts from Daisy Jones and the Six, and like their tour manager or producer or somebody. And y'all, it's really intriguing because sorry, I'm trying to put my hair up. Some of the accounts that you get one person's perspective and then another person's perspective, and they're completely contradictory. Or like one time they talk about how the band The Six got the name The Six, and they go through all the members, and each of them gives their account of how they came up with the name, and they're completely contradictory. And it's just interesting, and it kind of makes you think about the things that you hear about people in the news and how much of it is really maybe influenced by the perspective of the person telling the story. I don't know, it just made me think of that. So anyway, I'm about halfway through. I'm about to get on the bike. I'm going to read for a while, and then I have some time to read later today. I mentioned before that I thought it was going to be a quick read. It's going pretty quickly, so I'll finish it today. So I'll come back and let y'all know what I think, but so far I love it. It's all, remember I told you that tomorrow, I kept thinking show, don't tell. Because in tomorrow, the author kept telling you about things that happened instead of showing them to you or taking you through them through the eyes of the characters. Daisy Jones and the Six is all show, and you have to sort of construct the tell in your mind, and I like that. Like, it just gives you all the evidence, and then you have to sort of construct the narrative for yourself. So it's really kind of fun. I like the characters, they're very interesting. And same thing, the characters are developing through first-person interactions. So anyway, let me get on the bike. I'm about to make myself late. I have a class to teach this morning. I'm about to make myself late because I'm standing here hanging out with y'all. So I'll be back later and let you know. Like I said, I should finish the book today, so I'll probably just check in when I'm done, let you know what I think of Daisy Jones and the Six, and wrap up this vlog. So I'll be back in a while. Y'all remember when you were a kid and going to the library was like the most exciting thing? I still love going to the library. It's not necessarily the most, okay, it is one of the most exciting things. So I am running to the library, but I wanted to let y'all know that I finished Daisy Jones and the Six, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think I didn't necessarily expect, I don't know why I'm hemming and hawing, I wasn't sure that I was going to like it. I don't know why. Like I think I said, it's been kind of on the periphery of I think I want to read this books for a while. And I kept putting it off. I think because I knew about sort of the format of it, that it was like interviews and who wants to read all that and what if it's, I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm glad I finally broke down and read it like I'm breaking rocks or something, like it's a hard thing to do, to finally read a book that everybody loves. But I did enjoy it a lot. I think I said I really liked the characters. I don't know if there were any really unlikable characters. There were a couple of annoying characters, but even those were fun. I bawled openly at I know, surprised me crying at a book. Bawled openly at the end, which did surprise me. But y'all, I've discovered, so this is my second Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and in both of them, she's gotten me with a character's what I thought was unexpected kindness towards another character. Like I was a little sad, a little cryy sad when one thing happened, and I think part of it was because the book ended and so my friends were going away. And it ended like, it ended. And so I was a little sad about that. So something happened and I was like, oh, you know, a little bit teary. But then there was this unexpected kindness that just, I mean, didn't change my molecules. I didn't get Kristen Hannah by it. Let's get twisted. But yeah, I bawled. And the intern had gone into I was sitting at the kitchen counter and the intern walked away, went into the bedroom to do something. And I was, you know, a little, you know, whatever, a little sad, a little maybe teary. And he came back and I was like glasses off, face in my hands, bawling. And he was like, you know, you make reading looks like so much fun. I don't know why more people don't read. I was like, gave him a finger gesture, but yeah, it was like that kind of situation. But anyway, it was a good kind of cry. Not the kind that changes your molecules. You know, I got over it pretty quickly. So I did enjoy Daisy Jones and the Six a lot. So of the books, let's talk through this because I'm going to wrap this up because I feel like this vlog is going to be 42 hours long. We started with Finlay Donovan is Killing It, which I liked a lot. It moved quickly, had interesting characters, quick, witty dialogue. I liked the writing, so that one lived up to the hype. Then we read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Didn't enjoy that at all. Thought it was overhyped, overwritten. Let me say this. I did enjoy the prose, and if the author hadn't done all of the like trying to jam extra stuff in it, I think I would have liked it. And I think I might read another one of her books just to see if I actually like her writing and if Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow just wasn't the one for me. But so that's a no for me. Did not live up to the hype. I was annoyed by it. I read the whole thing, but that's not the one. Loved, loved, loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Loved the story, loved the characters. Y'all, it's a slow burn, so don't go into it expecting to like jump on a ride and for it to take off. It's not like the guest list where you have to work for it, but you know, you sort of weave back and forth between modern day and like history. And y'all, I am not a historic fiction fan, so I was surprised that I like that because I think it is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue historic fiction. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the interplay. I think I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much now that I'm thinking about this, thinking it through out loud, because who doesn't enjoy listening to that? Sorry. I think I enjoyed it as much as I did because of the sort of interplay between the past storyline and the present storyline. I think if it had just been like start in the past and just ride the train to the present, I don't think I would have liked that. I think I would have gotten bored. But because it weaves the two together so brilliantly, I really enjoyed it. And then y'all just saw what I thought about Daisy Jones and the Six. It was a quick read. I thought it was a very interesting and enjoyable story about some fairly grimy events that happened. So of the four, I would say that 3 of the heavily hyped books live up to the hype, and that Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow just didn't do it for me. So y'all, I know many of you have read these books because everybody's read them. I am like the last on the train to read any of these books. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you have any other like heavily hyped books. Let me slow down because y'all are going to watch me get pulled over if I don't slow my roll here because I get excited talking about books. Let me know if there are any other heavily hyped books that you love and you feel like I should read. But in the meantime, y'all, thank you so much for coming to my channel. And if you've made it this far, we're officially friends now. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with my shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos on Mondays with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.